I just got back from mega camp, and there is one word that I have not been able to stop thinking about: optimize. Not to do more and not to work more hours, not to somehow find time that you do not have or rob it from your life. Optimize. And if you're building your real estate business around another job, your family, and a very full life, this matters because you have a finite amount of time, energy, and attention to give this business. So the question is not just how much time do I have? The better question is, am I using the time I do have on the things that will actually move my business forward? Do you know your 20%? Do you know which activities are most likely to create 80% of your results? And if you only had 5 hours this week for real estate, would you know exactly where those 5 hours should go? That is what we'll be talking about today. If you've ever felt like you're doing a lot, but still not quite sure that you're doing the right things, this episode is for you. Welcome back to the Double Duty Agent Podcast. I'm your host, Carla Higgins, and I am so glad you're here. If you're listening from your car or on your lunch break, between appointments, or maybe while trying to squeeze in a little encouragement after a very full day, I want you to know something. You are exactly where you need to be. You do not have to have it all figured out. You do not have to do everything all at once. And you do not have to build your real estate business in a way that pulls you away from the life that you are working so hard to create. This podcast is your place to breathe, reset, and focus on what matters most. In season 3, we are getting focused for more clarity, more consistency, more income producing, and more confidence in what we are building. We will be talking about weekly intentions, consistent action, simple systems, support, adjustment, and the kind of momentum that is built one aligned step at a time. Because this is not about hustle. This is about building by design. Alignment gave us clarity. Now focus will help us turn that clarity into momentum. So let's dive in. All right, I am just back from mega camp. And if y'all don't know what that is, every year Keller Williams has a conference. This year it was in San Antonio. And what happens at mega camp, it's actually one of my favorites, is you get to spend time with Gary Keller, Jason Abrams, and the rest of Keller Williams leadership. And you also get to spend time with agents who are succeeding at the highest level in their business. And they get on stage and they give us the recipes to their success, like the recipe cards. They just hand them to you. It's so cool. And then we also have amazing keynote speakers. My favorite this year was Simon Sinek. So this episode is the beginning of probably several, will be several, where we're going to talk about the many, many takeaways I had from this year's mega camp. But I want to start with the idea that's been sitting with me ever since I got home. You do not have unlimited time and energy and attention. None of us do. And for a double duty agent, that is even more important because you are building this business inside of a life that already has so many responsibilities, commitments, and people who matter to you. So the answer is not always find more time. We have to ask ourselves a better question. How do you get the greatest return from the time that you already have? So Gary Keller spent a portion of the very first morning just on stage, on a stool, all by himself, talking with us. And what he shared was this formula that is optimize, scale, and then make it last. And he described optimization as getting the most from what you already have, not by simply doing more. And I loved this. The whole time he was talking, I was like, yes, this is what double duty agents need to hear. He talked about finite resources, not only your time, but also your energy, your attention, your money, your talent, which is also finite to some degree, and your capacity. And yeah, limited capacity. We understand that as a double duty agent, right? And it's not a character flaw. It's not something that you can go out and fix or change. It is just a reality that everyone has, by the way. It is just very apparent when you're a double duty agent. It's the reality of the container that you're building your business inside. Do you see how that works? So, optimization is about reducing the waste and redirecting your resources towards the result that matters the most to you. You have a finite amount of time and you have a finite amount of energy. You only have so much attention left when you get home after working another job or taking care of your family or managing your home and doing all the other things that make up your life. The answer is clearly not me telling you that you need to somehow find more time. That's a silly ask. That is a silly direction to be given. Gary describes optimization as getting the most out of what you already have. Yeah, this was absolutely a double duty conversation. So let's talk about a few things that came up when I was thinking about this as it relates to you and your double duty life. The first is the trap of I just need more time. How many of you guys listening raise your hand unless you're driving the car? Then you can raise your hand a little bit. But how many of you have thought, I just need more time? If I had more time, I could be successful. If I could just get caught up. Once work settles down, once the kids are back in school, when this season is over, when I have more time, I'll really start working my business. Is any of these ringing a bell with you? Have you said these things to yourself? If you have, it's okay. We all say these things to ourselves. But what we're looking for is the wrong thing. Gary, he challenged the idea that we should wait until things slow down because things often don't slow down, do they? We need a plan for the life that we're actually living. We need to build a business that actually fits in our real life. So here's the thing. If you have 5 hours every week that you can dedicate to your real estate business, then we need a plan for 5 hours. If you have 10 hours, then we need a plan for 10 hours. And if you have 15, well, let's build around 15. But the answer can't be to continually feel behind because you're comparing yourself to somebody who has 40. Just not fair. It's just not reality. And it's not going to help you move forward in your business. The next one is busy is not the same as progress. So often what we do is we confuse effort with progress. I've been working hard. I'm not getting anywhere. Have you said that to yourself? I've been doing the things. I'm not getting anywhere. I've been working hard. I'm not getting anywhere. I'm spending the time. I'm not getting anywhere. You can absolutely be working hard, learning, organizing, attending classes, building graphics, researching your tools, and then looking up and realizing that the hours that you've spent are really not creating the result that you're looking for, that you wanted. You can become very efficient at doing the wrong things. I see this with agents all the time. They're working. I know they are. They're taking classes. They're fixing their database. They're working in Canva. They're watching training. They're trying another tool. They're doing things. But the question isn't, am I doing things? The question is, are the things I'm doing moving me toward the business I said I wanted? Because when your time is limited, that is the question that matters the most. Now, there's another idea that connects really well to this, and that is the 80-20 principle, Pareto's principle. Have you heard of that? The idea is that a relatively small number of your activities tend to create a disproportionately large share of your results. So here's the question I want you to ask yourself. Do you know what your 20% is? Do you know which small group of activities in your real estate business is creating or has the potential to create 80% of your results? Because if you only have limited hours, that matters. And if you have 5 hours a week, are those 5 hours going toward your 20%? Or are they disappearing into the 80% of activities that keep you busy, but don't really move you and your business forward towards your goals? You can't afford to treat every task like it has equal value because they don't. Some things move the business, some things support the business, and some things, well, it actually just consumes time. So here's the question for you to sit with. If you only had 5 hours this week to work on your real estate business, do you know which 20% deserve those 5 hours? Do you know what result you're actually trying to create? Do you know how the activities on your calendar connect to that result? Do you know what deserves your best energy? Do you know what you can stop doing altogether? Do you know which things are necessary and which things just feel productive but aren't really? Is the plan you're following actually designed around your life? Or was it designed around someone else's life with a completely different reality? Now, I wish I could answer all of these questions for you today in this episode, but I really just can't do that because the answer is not exactly the same for every double duty agent. This isn't a one size fits all solution to a challenge. If your available time is different, your goals are different, your season of life is different, then your business is going to be different. But you need to be able to answer all of these questions. You don't need somebody else's perfect schedule. You need to understand what deserves a place in your schedule. So, this is where my mega camp takeaway came home with me in a very practical way. I teach a class called Rise the Double Duty Agent 4 times a year, and I do it for one reason. I want double duty agents to have a clear plan for building a real estate business that fits into their lives and helps them achieve their goals. And sitting at Mega Camp, listening to this conversation about optimization, I realized I could optimize Rise too. So that is exactly what I'm doing. Our next Rise is September 10th, and I am creating an all new Rise experience. We're going to focus even more clearly on helping you look at the time and capacity you actually have, the goals you're trying to reach, and the plan you need to move forward. I can't just simply do this in a podcast, so I'm going to do it in Rise. I don't want you to leave Rise with 47 new things you think you're supposed to do. I want you to leave clearer about your plan, and I want you there. If you're building real estate around another job, raising a family, caregiving, or simply just a very full, beautiful life, I want you in this room. If you've ever wondered, what should I actually be doing with the limited hours I have? I especially want you to set aside the time and make sure that you join us. Again, it's September 10th, and you can go to doubledutypodcast.com and register. And if you know another double duty agent who's trying to figure this out, send them the registration link and tell them to come with you. I do this 4 times a year. I do this for you. And I am super excited about this new experience that I am creating. The more double duty agents I can get into that room, the more agents I can help build a business that actually fits the life that they are living. And that is my mission. So here's what I want you to be thinking about this week. You may not need more time. You may need to get more intentional about the time that you already have. And before you add something else to your business, ask, what am I actually trying to create? And is this helping me create it? You don't have to have the whole answer today, but I do want you to start asking yourself the question. Because your limited time does not mean that you're limited in what you can build. It means that your plan matters. Before we wrap up, let's bring this back to focus. Take a deep breath and check in with yourself. What did you hear today that you need to carry with you? Where is your attention being pulled away from what matters most? And what is one aligned next step that you can take this week to move forward with focus and intention? Because this podcast is not just about gathering information. It's about helping you build momentum in your real estate business, one intentional action at a time. And I want you to know you do not have to build this alone. If you're ready for more support, head over to doubledutypodcast.com. That's where you can join the Double Duty community. You can subscribe to the Double Duty download newsletter, and you can find resources designed to help you turn limited time into focused, income-producing action. If this episode helped you, I would be so grateful if you would please leave a 5-star review. It helps other agents find the podcast, and it lets me know that what we're creating together is making an impact for you. And if there's an agent in your world who needs this message today, please share this episode with them. That is how we grow this community. One conversation, one connection, and one agent at a time. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I am so grateful for you. Keep growing, keep building, and keep getting focused for more. Double Duty by Design, your design.